I hope I'm audible right now. Great. So, again, a warm welcome to all of you. Thank you for joining the session and sharing your comments. Do feel free to let me know in case my audio and visual is sketchy, not clear, etc. Feel free to send in your comments in the chat box below. However, I am so glad and happy to be a part of this live session again after a long gap. Uh, Today with another insightful and uh, a helpful session with Shellye Archambeau. So for those of you who have joined our session for the first time, just to let you know, I am Shraddha Verma, co-founder of Fuchsia, and I would request all of you to probably share your share this live session on your timeline with your network so that more and more people can benefit out of it, because this is going to be a very insightful and a helpful session for every person who is looking at growing in your careers, who has career advancement as one of the major priorities in life, and definitely who would want to seek some advice from the expert Shellye herself. Um, of course, do feel free to share your questions in the chat box so that we can take it up in the course of our session, in the course of our live session. Great. Uh, for those of you who are joining us for the first time, I would love to give you a quick introduction of what Fuchsia is all about. Probably those of you who don't know about Fuchsia, uh, I would love to introduce you to our amazing community. So Fuchsia is a global community of women who are aspiring professionals and entrepreneurs with a common vision so we have a common vision to empower you to learn, earn, and network, thereby helping you to become confident and economically independent. This is what we really strive for. This is our mission to help you upskill and uplevel. And this live session with Shellye is a part of our initiative to guide you in your career advancement and leadership, shaping you into future leaders. So today we are home to millions of creators and aspiring individuals who have signed up on our platform and joined our community, shattering the glass ceilings, forming relationships, and cultivating a change. So do check out www.fuchsia.com and be a part of our community, which is driving change. Having said that, now it's time to welcome our guests. So let me call upon Shellye. Hi, Shellye.
Hi, Shraddha. Hi, everyone. It's great to be here.
Yes, welcome to this live session after a brief gap. But I'm always excited, super excited to know more, learn more from you on these sessions, and of course, share your piece of advice with our audience as well. Uh, Shellye, how has it been for you? It's been such a long time. How have you been? How are you doing?
Oh, thanks for asking, Shraddha. I'm actually doing quite well. The world seems to be returning closer to, I won't say normal. I don't know that we'll ever go back to the way things were, but definitely everybody's engaging again. I'm traveling again, meetings are happening in person again. And frankly, it's just great to actually interact and see people after all this time.
Absolutely. It's such an amazing feeling to get back to the face to face version of this world. Uh, so it's definitely been a new learning, in the last 2 years. So trying to live the hybrid way of working now. Great.
Agreed.
So for
Agreed.
those of you who probably don't know Shellye, just to give you a quick introduction, Shellye Archambeau has over 30 years of experience in technology leading organizations. She serves on the board of companies like Verizon and Northstar. She is the author of Unapologetically Ambitious: Take Risks, Break Barriers, and Create Success on Your Own Terms, a book that will help professionals to achieve their aspirations and create the life they want. It's available on Amazon, so you can definitely check it out. I can put the link in our comments below.
Thanks, Shraddha. Hey,
Shellye,
hey, Shraddha, can I interrupt for just 1 second? Guess what?
yes.
The book is coming out in paperback next week,
Oh,
the
lovely.
27th,
This
and it
is
has
amazing.
yeah, and this is a preview. This is the paperback, and it actually has a bonus material. I've included a personal planning guide so that people can use it to create their own plans to achieve what they want in life. So I'm pretty excited.
This is absolutely exciting. So, those of you, please make a note of it. It's just, I think it's what, 1 week away that we're going to launch this. Am I right, Shelley? So, in
Yes.
1 week, you have your own paperback. We'll share entire information and the link where you can grab your copy. So, stay tuned with us throughout this week, because there is going to be a lot of exciting activities and events that's going to come up. But Shelley, it's absolutely amazing to have this piece of news, because although Unapologetically Ambitious has been a very, I'll say, insightful, motivating, and the right book for people who are looking to advance in their careers, or probably take uh, their next step in the field of either leadership, entrepreneurship, or maybe anything that can help them guide to take the next step. But this advancement is something where I am looking forward to as well, and glad that this is happening next week. So exciting.
It is.
Yeah. So let's since our topic today is creating your own luck. I'm sure that all of us, and a lot of us, we think, we depend a lot sometimes on luck. I don't know. Some of us probably don't even believe that there is luck that exists. It's a mixed feeling. It's mixed opinions that I see from people. I would definitely love to know it from you, Shelley. Is it really possible to create your own luck? And i- is it something like luck that really exists?
Yeah. Actually, Shraddha, I believe it is. But first, I have to define what is luck really? And I've always believed that luck happens when an opportunity or situation arises and you have the right skills, the right experience, and the right attitude to take advantage of it. And then all of a sudden you're lucky, right? So I believe that you can improve your odds to become lucky. Therefore, you can create your own luck. But I believe it starts by being intentional. So, what does that mean? That means that you have to have clarity. You need to decide what are your goals? And a goal can be a year away, 5 years away, 10 years away. It doesn't matter in terms of how far out in the future it is, but have something that you're striving for, right? And what is a goal? A goal is just something that you want to create or to impact or to achieve in the future. And you're working toward it. Well, in order to work toward that goal, you need to have a plan, right? So the way I do this is I set a goal for myself. And then I ask myself, what has to be true for me to achieve that goal? So when I was young, in college, and I wanted to one day be a CEO, I would ask myself, what has to be true? Well, you know what? I didn't know what had to be true. I mean, I didn't know any CEOs. So the next step in the process is you have to do the research so that you understand what has to be true. And I did. I said, well, who are the CEOs? Right? And I was interested in tech. What are their backgrounds? What did they major in college? What kind of jobs did they take? Right? What did their lives look like? I did all this research. Why? Because now that I did the research, I could then figure out how to create the plan, right? So I set a goal. I want to be a CEO. What has to be true for me to be a CEO? That's doing the research. And then how do I make it true, which is the plan? So, all right, I need to get a degree. Well, there aren't many women and definitely no blacks that I saw that were CEOs of tech companies. So I knew the odds were not in my favor. So therefore, I wanted to make sure I had strong credentials, right? I wanted to get the right education. I wanted to take majors then in economics and in computer science programming, et cetera, right? That would help me compete better because everything's about competing. And then it turned out that most CEOs started out in sales. So I started out in sales. That's the plan. Create a plan. And then as you're working on that plan, make sure that you're also building as many skills as possible along the way and make decisions every day consistent with the plan. So, for instance, If I said I wanted to be a CEO and I found out that most CEOs started out in sales, but I decided, well, you know what? I think, I don't know, I'll make it up. I think corporate communications just seems more interesting. Well, if I majored in corporate communications, that's not consistent with the plan,
Hmm.
right? You have to
Right.
be consistent with your plan. So by doing that, by setting a goal, making a plan, and making decisions that are consistent with your plan along the way, and building skills, right, that are in demand, that helps you have the right skills that you need, the right experience that you need when opportunities come about. And then, oh, by the way, you have to tell people. You have to tell people because by communicating with people what you're interested in and what you want to do, then they may remember that and mention opportunities to you. Again, improving your luck, right? So I do believe that
Right.
we can create our own luck by being intentional, by letting people know what it is that we want to do so that we can hear about opportunities. And then when they come about, we're prepared for them because we've taken the right steps.
Right. So it's all about probably visualizing your success and plan towards it, taking the initiative, and then networking, so that more and more people come to know, and maybe they can open doors and opportunities for you. Right.
Exactly.
Okay. Great. So, Shelley, in your entire journey so far, what has been your key learnings in this journey? Maybe in your career, while planning towards it, etc.
You know, it's interesting, Shraddha. When I think about the experiences that I've had throughout my career, a few of them really stand out as ones where I just learned a ton that I leveraged throughout the rest of my career. So, one, for instance, was even before I left college, but it was getting involved in clubs and organizations and taking leadership roles in those clubs. Because what I found is by doing that, I learned how to motivate people because when people volunteer for something, they don't actually have to do it, right? They have to want to do it. They have to be excited to do it. Otherwise, other things will take priority and they'll never get done what you need them to get done on a volunteer basis. So I found that by leading volunteer organizations, I learned skills about how to motivate and how to encourage and how to make people feel part of something bigger, right, than themselves, how to really drive purpose. I learned about learning about people themselves and what motivates them and being able to tap into that. So I learned a ton just leading volunteer organizations. So I highly recommend that. The other is sales. I talked about it when I said I found out a lot of the CEOs started out in sales. Well, I learned a ton in sales because when you have to sell something, first of all, it's uncomfortable asking people to buy something from you, asking for the order, right? Okay, I've got a book, will you buy it, right? I've got a computer system, will you buy? I mean, it's intimidating. So learning how to do it and getting comfortable with, frankly, with being uncomfortable is one of the biggest things you learn in sales. And you also learn that when people tell you no, it's not the end of the world. Because that's what you think, right? You think, oh my God, I better not ask because what if they say no? Well, bottom line is when they say no,
Well,
it's
this
okay.
hesitation is always there in most of us. We hesitate a lot.
Exactly, exactly, because we're afraid of no. Well, when you're a salesperson, you learn not to be afraid of no because you get no a lot. All right. But what you learn,
Absolutely.
right? What you learn, Shraddha, is no doesn't mean no forever. No usually means something's not right. When people tell you no, it's because maybe timing's not right, maybe the price isn't right, maybe the value proposition, what you're offering is not quite right. You know, something is not right. So when they say no, it's actually great because it gives you a chance to find out why not? Why not? And then maybe you can fix it. So if you ask them if they'll buy your services and they say no, you can say, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, but why is that?" Right? And then they might tell you, "Well, you know, honestly, your price is a lot higher than the competition." Well, you can fix that. Okay, so if I discounted it 8%, would that work for you? Right? Don't just take no and go away. Take no and try to find out why. Or they might say, "Well, you know, you offered the service, but frankly, it's a lot more than I actually need." Oh, I can scale that back, right? Or it might be, you know, no, because I just don't have budget right now. Oh, Well, when might you have budget? Right? What is it? Well, how about if I come back in 6 months? All right. So,
Right.
no is actually a great thing to hear because it allows you to then define why not. The worst is when you don't ask, you don't get the answer, and then you never know if you could have actually sold something or gotten what it is that you wanted. So, sales, I encourage everyone, right? Get out there and sell something because when you're selling, you learn so many skills. You learn how to approach people, you learn how to read people's body language, right? You learn all kinds of things in sales. So
True.
that's my biggest one.
No, this is absolutely true. I think until and unless we get the ground reality and experience the ground level of what people need, what are the expectations, probably experiencing that no, and experiencing probably failures. I think that's how we need to create a game or make a game of the failures, because that's what will open the doors. I truly believe in that. So Shelley, you told about you know let more people know about your plan so that they can open opportunities. I would definitely love to know more and share it with the audience of how we can network better. How can others help us in creating our own luck,
Yes.
or
So this
how
is a
can
good
we help others in creating their luck as well? I mean, both the ways.
yeah, exactly, because it's all sides of it. So first, it's interesting, Shraddha, because people will come to me and, they'll want advice about either what job they should take or whether they should try to build their own business. They'll ask all kinds of things. And I'll say, okay, well, who knows? Who else knows what you're trying to do? And many times, no one else knows. Or maybe a girlfriend or boyfriend or spouse or sister or mother, maybe a parent knows, but very few people know that the person actually aspires to build a business, right? Or to take on this job. Well, the first thing you have to do is you have to let people know because if they don't know what you want to do, they can't help you. All right. So, how
Right.
do you do that? And I don't mean you walk around saying, Shraddha, I want to do this or I want to do that. I want to do that. I mean, I realize that's kind of in your face, right? But there are ways to do it. Shraddha, you and I can be having a conversation and I can say, Shraddha, one day I aspire to build a services business, right? Now, that's not in your face. That's sharing, right? That's sharing. And people typically, when you share something, especially something personal that you want to do, it actually creates a deeper connection with the person you're sharing with. Now, does it make you vulnerable because now you've shared something you want to do? The answer is yes. But honestly, vulnerability is just a side effect of ambition. If you have ambitions and things you want to do, pardon me, but allergies, then you are going to be vulnerable at times. And that's okay because this vulnerability allows people to really get to know you. And when they get to know you, they're more likely to help you. Does that make sense, Shraddha?
Absolutely. I think it definitely makes sense, and something that we all could learn and practice in our own lives, because I feel that it's not just about uh, few things that it will help, but I think in every walk of life, this habit can definitely help. So, while talking about habits, I think what habits should we cultivate or practice in day to day life so that we are already on that course of making our own luck or creating our own
Mhm.
luck? Are there any key habits that all of us should keep in mind, um,
Yeah.
so that we can get on the right track?
I think the biggest habit is being intentional. Do things for a reason and make sure you keep in mind what it is that you're trying to do, right? Um, Let me give you an example. It's going to sound really silly. Pardon me. But it really proves my point. When I was in college, I knew that one day I wanted to be married. And ideally, I'd like to be married earlier versus later. And I also knew I wanted to have kids younger if I could. All right. So that's what I wanted, in addition to becoming a CEO. So one of the things I did was I needed a new winter coat in my sophomore year. So I went and bought a coat. And I came back And I didn't have a whole lot of money in college, so I was really thrifty. I went to the outlet store, right? The whole bit. So I come back with this coat and I try it on for my roommate. And she says, well, gosh, Shellye, it's not, I mean, it's nice, but it's not very stylish. It was a double breasted button up swing coat. You know, when you swung around, it kind of
Right.
expanded, right? And she said, and I said to her, I said, well, I know, but I wanted to be able to wear this coat when I'm pregnant. And she was like, what? Shellye, you don't even have a steady boyfriend. What are you talking about being pregnant? I said, no, no, no. I mean, a good coat should last you, I don't know, 7, 8 years. So in 7, 8 years, I'd like to be married and have kids. Now, do I know that's going to happen? No. But by being intentional with every decision, every time I wear that coat, I knew and I remembered what my plan and my goal was, right? And so when I met guys, especially boys or whatever, if I couldn't imagine myself actually married to them, I never spent time with them, right? Or I stopped spending time with them. Because if I was spending time with somebody that I knew I wasn't long term, then I could miss the opportunity when the right person did come by. So I'm giving you a very personal example of what I mean, but the same is true in business, right? Be intentional. I took, I took classes in programming, not because I was interested in becoming a programmer. I took classes in programming because I wanted to make sure I had the technical knowledge to understand how it worked, because I wanted to be in the technical industry, tech industry. And I knew I needed to compete with other people. So I needed as many skills, right, that could position me well. Being intentional with everything you do is one of the best ways to improve your luck.
This is absolutely helpful and, in fact, a very good example because now we can relate with it as to what you mean by being intentional, and something that we all could learn from it because, honestly, from for me, it's very important to uh, let everyone understand what being intentional in during probably growing your business or maybe in your career means, because that will help us to uh, be focused. So maybe focus on few things, but really being intentional on that focus area would be really helpful. That's what I mean. And correct me if I'm wrong, Shellye. Is this something that we really want to do? We have to focus. I know there are so many things, especially in today's generation, where we tend to multitask in various things. But focusing on few things, but being intentional on that focus and actually working towards it is what uh, we should do. Is that something?
Absolutely. Yeah, the answer is absolutely. You know, I talk about this in the book a lot in terms of being intentional and how to do it. You know, one of the things I do, and I do it to this day, Shraddha, is I look back at my calendar, to say, all right, am I spending time where I really want to be spending time, given what it is that I'm trying to do? And I do that because a lot of times we don't, right? We're spending time that's actually not aligned with our goals or our personal
Mm,
plans or whatever. And if that's the case, then the odds are you're not going to get what you want if you're not spending time working towards what you're actually trying to achieve.
right.
So that's one of the ways I keep myself honest. So I look back to say, okay, what did I do? Where did I spend time, et cetera? And am I spending a good portion of my time actually moving forward towards the things that are important to me? And oh, by the way, that's not just one thing, because I told you I was interested in becoming a CEO, but I didn't want to be married, and I didn't want to have kids, and I didn't. I mean,
Yes.
I had a set of goals.
Right. No, they're definitely very helpful, Shelley. And for me, especially, I have learned in every of these sessions, and this is again one of the best takeaways from the session. So thank you so much, Shelley. Before we close, I would definitely love to hear your final advice to our audience, that you would say top three advice that you would want our audience to keep in mind and execute. What would those be?
So first, spend time with yourself to really think about what is it you want. What do you want? Not what does society want from you, but what do you really want? And that's personally and professionally. Write it down. Write it down. And then use that as your goalpost. And use that as your framework, as you're making decisions, as you're making choices, as you're setting priorities, right? Just make sure that it's aligned with what you are actually trying to do. That would be my main advice, because if you do that, then you have better odds of actually improving your luck and therefore achieving the things that you want to achieve. And then the last piece I'll say is take help. Take help. Nobody accomplishes anything of significance all by themselves. No one. So don't think you're going to be the first person on the planet to do it. We all need help and support as we work towards whatever our goals and aspirations are. So remember, it's okay to ask for help. I believe that asking for help is a strength. It's not a weakness.
And we can always take take inspiration from our idols or copy from the greats uh, in our course of action. Is that also okay?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'll give it another plug though. You might want to check out my book. There's a lot of stuff in here that will really help you.
Great. Thank you so much, Shellye. I think all the points that you mentioned definitely make sense and something that we all can implement it in our uh, course of advancing in our careers and also creating our own luck. I would love to give a big thank you for all the to all the audience who have been patient enough listening to our conversation. In case you have any questions, any thoughts, any queries, you can always reach out to us on our DMs or put it in the comments. We always check it out. And just a big shout out to you, Shellye, because I'm totally excited for your paperback that's coming next week. And, super excited to get the link and share it with our community members. For those of you who have who don't know about unapologetically ambitious, which I don't know why, but you should be knowing about it. I will be posting the link, the Amazon link for it below after this video or after the session is over. But having said that, do keep a track of our updates because we would also be sharing the paperback link with you as well. Shellye, just one heads up: is this link going to be available, or is this paperback will it be available only for the US, or is it going to be global?
No, it'll be available. It'll be on Amazon. And so it'll also be available for delivery in India. Just like the hardback was. So yes.
All right. All right, so here you have the heads up. It's available. It's going to be available even in India, and I will keep you posted for it. Shellye, thank you so much for this lovely conversation. It was, very insightful, and thank you for making this session, so riveting and so interesting because I'm going to definitely apply some of the points which I have not been, and I would go ahead and do it. And I'm sure that our audience would also be. Uh, I'm hoping that they would be implementing these. This advice as well. So yeah, Shellye, thank you so much for taking out your time for this.
You are very welcome. Thanks for having me. And by the way, everyone, feel free to follow me on LinkedIn. As Shraddha knows, I try to share a
Yeah.
lot of advice and tips and inspiration on LinkedIn. Shellye Archambeau, I'm the only one out there. All right. Thanks,
I'll put my
everybody.
LinkedIn profile as well. So there's something that you can always follow for more tips and advice.
Great.
So well, have a great evening, all of you. And Shellye, you have a great day.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye.